Welcome to the root of all success with the Real Jason Duncan, a podcast that explores how the world's most powerful entrepreneurs unlocked success and how their stories can help you do the same. A successful educator turned entrepreneur, Jason has built multi-million-dollar businesses that have been featured in Inc. magazine and Entrepreneur magazine. His life's mission now is helping entrepreneurs live what he calls #the exit lifestyle. Introducing TEDx speaker, mastermind leader, author, entrepreneur, cigar aficionado, motorcycle enthusiast, and host of The Root of All Success, the Real Jason Duncan. The Real Jason Duncan.
Hey, welcome back to another very special edition of The Root of All Success. I am the Real Jason Duncan, coming to you live. Well, actually, you're listening to this on recording, so I'm actually coming to you from my cabin, which we call $1 Million View, here in Sevierville, Tennessee, over in East Tennessee in the Smoky Mountains. Right outside, the window behind me is really bright. I've shut the blinds, but it's still really bright, so it may be washing out the video if you're watching this on YouTube. But right outside those windows is the beautiful Smoky Mountains. Off in the distance is Mount LeConte, which is the highest peak in the eastern hemisphere, or the eastern United States, over in the Smoky Mountains. I think the highest spot's like 6,600 feet. So it's not at all like the Rockies, but unlike the Rockies, every single part of the Great Smoky Mountains is covered in trees. It's lush, it's green. There are more species of trees and plants here than anywhere else in the world. At least that's what I'm told. So it's a gorgeous place, and we rent this place out as a short-term rental, both on the Vrbo platform and the Airbnb platform. But I'm not here today to talk about the cabin necessarily. The episode today is going to be a short one, and I only want to answer this one question. What is the exit lifestyle? Part of what I teach as a business coach, as an author, podcaster, speaker, content creator, is I teach something called exit without exiting, which essentially is being able to exit the daily operations of your business without having to sell the business, which I successfully accomplished in 2020. Stepped away from the daily operations of a company I started in 2010 that I still own to this day. It is a very successful lighting company, does LED lighting, and we now have an electrical contracting division as well. Now, we, like everybody else, had our struggles through the COVID pandemic and trying to struggle through that, but it progresses nevertheless. And so what I did is I was able to exit the daily operations, put in place the team that I need to be able to put in place with the systems and processes so that that company can run without my direct daily involvement. That's exit without exiting. Now, the purpose of exit without exiting is so that we as entrepreneurs, me specifically to be the guinea pig to start all this, was how do I live what I call the exit lifestyle? Now, what I want to share with you today and on this show is what the exit lifestyle really is. And so for me, the exit lifestyle is when you get to live the lifestyle that you want as if you didn't have the business holding you back. Now, a lot of entrepreneurs, unfortunately, think that they're going to be that 2%er who's going to sell the business at some point in the future for a huge amount of money and be financially independent as a result of that. But the reality is it is less than 2% of people as entrepreneurs ever experience that type of exit. That's just not the reality for entrepreneurs. I guess it's very much like NBA or NFL or MLB. You know, how many millions of young men want to get into those arenas, those professional sports leagues, yet they never do. It's a very small percentage. Does it happen? Sure. But does it happen to everybody? Most certainly not. Same thing in entrepreneurship. Not every entrepreneur is going to build a business that's going to allow them to exit financially and be independent. So if we're not going to be able to do that, and that was my story, I built a very successful multi-million-dollar business with a strong 7-figure bottom line, yet it wasn't really worth anything on the open market because I was in the center of that business. So I couldn't sell it for financially independent dollars. So my plan was, well, how do I sell it without having to sell it? How do I get out of it without having to sell it? And that's what the Exit Without Exiting platform did. And by the way, my book, Exit Without Exiting, goes into the very specific mechanics of how I did it and how I've showed many, many other people how to do it just like you. But this exit lifestyle is what happens if if you did sell the business and you were financially independent. That's what the exit lifestyle is, without you having to sell the business and become financially independent. Too many people wait until some point in the future to begin living the life that they want. Maybe it's travel, maybe it's going and doing overseas work as a missionary or doing mission trips. Maybe it's doing volunteer work. Maybe it's starting a nonprofit. Too many people wait until some undisclosed point in the future, undetermined point in the future to accomplish that. But what I teach is that you can live the exit lifestyle now as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Case in point, right now I'm spending 3 days here at my cabin in the Smoky Mountains with my wife. We came up here Monday, just to kind of give you a sense of what that looked like. Monday was my planning day. I do a strategic thinking and planning day all day once a month, and that was Monday. So I did that from home, from my home office. It was where I work. And then about 5, 6 o'clock, we hopped in the car and we drove over and got here around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Now, that's not my ideal. I would rather have left during the day Monday, but that strategic thinking and planning was really important. I didn't want to miss it. So we got here late Monday night, got up yesterday, and we, made breakfast. We had coffee, sat on the porch. It was nice to have coffee in the hot tub yesterday morning. It was really beautiful watching the sunrise come up over the Mount LeConte. And then I spent the day doing some chores around the cabin. But then I had a few things I needed to do: catch up on some emails. I needed to write some content. I had a team meeting with my core team. We did it we didn't do it on Zoom. We normally do it on Zoom, but I did it on Signal. We use the Signal app. So I just did it on Signal, went over a few things, made sure my podcast schedule was correct. We had your guests lined up. And I probably spent 2 to maybe 4 hours total yesterday working on some stuff in between doing chores, putting down some new mulch, weeding the flower beds out front, working on some stuff, just piddling around the cabin, because we do rent it. So we were trying to get it ready for our next guests. Now, we don't do this all the time, but we do get to come up here. In 2 weeks, my wife and I are leaving for a 9-day RV trip.
Let's take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsors for making this podcast possible.
Hey, I want to talk with you about one of my favorite tools as a salesperson and as an entrepreneur, and that tool is Dub. I want you to imagine for a minute getting an email from somebody, and instead of just being the plain old crappy text in an email, rather than just having a bunch of HTML where it's pictures and stuff, what if it was a video? And the video had a little GIF, and it was playing right there in the email as soon as you opened it, and it had your name. Like it said, "Hello, Jason, check this out." And then you clicked play, and it played right there in your inbox, in the window. And it was somebody trying to tell you how great you are, or how awesome they can help you, how good they can help you out. That is the power of video emails. I want you to try Dub out. I've been using it for years. I have closed countless millions of dollars in sales over the last 6 years or so using Dub, and you can do it too. All you got to do is go to therealjasonduncan.com/Dub. That's DUBB. Therealjasonduncan.com/Dub. Dub will help you make an impact in your sales through video. It's going to help you with, they've even got a CRM built into it. You can build landing pages. You can do campaigns, even SMS campaigns. You can set up automations to manage workflows and maximize conversions. And like I said, they've got an existing software platform inside Dub to take your CRM to the next level. Try this out. Get a free special just by being a listener to the podcast. Go to therealjasonduncan.com/Dub. Get 2 weeks to try it for free and 50% off your first 2 months. That's therealjasonduncan.com/Dub. 40 years ago, you weren't in business unless you had your business in the Yellow Pages. You remember those things? And 30 years ago, you weren't in business unless you had a door-to-door salesman. 20 years ago, you weren't in business unless you had a website. And today, you're not in business unless you're doing social media content. Am I right? Social media content. Social media content in the form of like micro content, which is 30 to 60 second spots on Instagram Reels or TikTok or YouTube Shorts. That's the way business is done. As a matter of fact, that may be how you found out about this podcast or me as a business coach. This medium that we're using today to communicate what we do is vitally important. And just recording yourself isn't enough. You've got to do it right. And my friends over at Story do it right. And one of the problems with doing it wrong is that you sit around thinking, well, what the heck am I going to record? What am I going to say? How am I going to say it? Like, I don't know what to talk about. Well, story takes all of that away from you. Stop wasting time trying to come up with content, because story will send you a video prompt on what to record. You can pick the categories you want to record in, whether it's real estate, entrepreneurship, finance, relationship, leadership, life insurance. It could be anything. Don't waste time on that. And by the way, if you're not confident in talking on video, or if the video editing portion takes up way too much of your time, Story will edit the videos to perform well on social media. They add the subtitles, the pop-ups, the zoom cuts. They remove all the filler words like and and They remove the awkward pauses. And then they take that video and post it for you. They write the captions, they add the relevant hashtags, and they post it on the platforms that you care about the most. It's exactly what you need to be in business today and to be successful at it. So if you want to learn how to do social media the way the influencers do, you need to go to therealjasonduncan.com/story. And that's story with 2 Y's. Why? Because they're awesome. Go to therealjasonduncan.com/story. That's STORYY for 10% off your first 3 months to try Story out. You're going to thank me later.
Thanks for listening to our sponsors. Now, back to the show.
A motorcycle trip to Eureka Springs, Arkansas, where we're going to be spending some time out there just enjoying nature, enjoying one another's company, riding a motorcycle, we're going to go, I think we're going to see the Passion Play, which is a really cool thing over in Eureka Springs. They've got like a mini Holy Lands over there where you can go do a tour of the Holy Lands. I think that stuff's kind of cool, and we're going to get to do that. Now, that's, to me, the exit lifestyle. The exit lifestyle is I can get up and I can choose to spend time in the office, or I can get up and choose to spend time in my RV, go motorcycle riding, come out here to my cabin. And I'm able to do this while maintaining 7 companies that I own. The lighting company, the aforementioned lighting company, is still something I own. And yet all of these companies are continuing to run to varying degrees of success and provide me the financial and tax benefits that business ownership has without me having to be involved in the nitty-gritty daily operations. So I want you to think about it this way. You know, if there's a pool being put in your backyard and there's a guy down in the hole digging with a shovel, and then there's a guy walking around on the top of the ground with a clipboard and a tie on, and which one of those guys is making more money? It's the guy with a clipboard and tie. Who's working harder? The guy in the hole. So hard work doesn't lead you to make more money, because let's take that story a little bit further. What if you now widen that view out a little bit more, and the guy with the clipboard and the tie makes a phone call to a guy who's sitting at an office somewhere with his feet up on a desk in an air-conditioned office, and he asks him questions about the pool project. Who's making more money, the guy in the office or the guy with the clipboard and tie? The guy in the office. So who's working harder? Well, the guy with the clipboard and tie. See, the hard work doesn't directly relate to the type of lifestyle and the income that you want to make. Now take that story a little bit further. What if the guy in the office has got his feet up on the desk, makes a phone call to his boss, who's out on the golf course smoking cigars and playing golf with 3 other guys, to ask him some questions about the project? Now, who's working harder and who's making more money? Well, the guy at the desk is working harder, but the guy out on the golf course is making more money. This is how the world works. This is how business works. Hard work does not necessarily lead to the life that you want. So why would you continue to work 40, 50, 60 hours per week when you could live a version of the exit lifestyle today? You could right now, today, begin living that exit lifestyle. Now, it doesn't just happen because you want it to. There are things that you have to do to put into place. But this is what I've built my entire life around, and this is what I build my coaching platform on. You see, I think too many entrepreneurs, just like you, just like I used to be, is we build a business and then our life gets lived around the edges. I would much prefer to build a life and have the business around the edges. Now, what's the difference between me and a guy who's working 100 hours a week and running a multi-million-dollar startup? He might make more money than me, but he's working a ton harder, a lot longer, and he's not experiencing the exit lifestyle. And what's he doing that for? For the eventual exit at some point when he's financially independent? Well, I would suggest to you that you can take that guy, show him a few things, and he can begin living the exit lifestyle now and slow his roll, kind of step back from some daily operations and begin really living the life that he wants to live at some point in the future, but without sacrificing many hours and years to get to that place. You see, I believe that running a successful business doesn't require 40 plus hours of your week. I think you can do that in as little as 10. This coaching company that I run, which includes doing these podcasts and webinars, things like this, I do in about 20 hours a week. And then my other companies, I put in a couple of hours here and there. But most of the time, I'm spending strategizing, thinking about the future, bigger projects. What can I do to make a big impact in this world? I want to change the legacy of 10,000 people, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish. I want to help 100,000 entrepreneurs escape this ironic prison of entrepreneurship, to live a life of true success and balance. You know, I did a podcast episode not too long ago on success and balance. I talked about work-life balance, and I debunked that whole myth. And that's really what I'm aiming at. So what is the exit lifestyle? What is it for you? I mean, if today, if somebody wrote you a check and you didn't have to work again, what would you do every day? Would you travel? Would you ride a motorcycle? Would you get an RV? Would you go overseas? Would you start a nonprofit? Would you do all of those things? Well, let's assume you're not going to get that check ever. So why wouldn't you start endeavoring to build a life that allows you to do pieces and parts of that now without having to wait to some time in the future where that might not happen? Now, this episode of this podcast is a solo episode. I told you it's going to be short. I only wanted to explain to you briefly what the exit lifestyle is. But if this is something you're truly interested in, if you really are wanting to take this to the next level, then I want you to reach out to me. I want you to go to the link in the show notes that we're going to put in there to book a free call with me. Just a 20-minute compatibility call to see if this is something that you're interested in, if there's some way that I can help you achieve the exit lifestyle now. You don't have to wait until later. And maybe you don't need to talk to me. Maybe you don't want to talk to me, and that's fine. But what I want to encourage you to do is to really think about what you want. What do you desire? What are you trying to accomplish with this business that you own? Are you just in it for a better job? Or are you in it for a better life? If I can help you, I want you to go to therealjasonduncan.com, scroll to the bottom of that page, and click on Book a Call. You can do that, or you can go to the show notes on this podcast and click on the free compatibility call link, and you can book a time to talk with me for about 20 minutes, and we'll just chat about how I can help you. I've got a lot of resources on my website at therealjasonduncan.com, not least of which is my book, Exit Without Exiting, which is now an international bestseller. You can go to therealjasonduncan.com and click on book and pick up a copy for only $15.99. And for $5 extra, I'll sign it for you, and it's free shipping. So thank you for listening to this show. If you haven't yet checked out how to subscribe to the show, make sure you do that. That really helps us podcasters get in front of more people, the more subscribers we have. And I'd love an honest review. If it's a 5-star review, please go ahead and leave it. If it's less than that, just reach out and let me know what I can do to make this show even better. Well, please tune in again next time. I'll be talking with another very successful entrepreneur about his or her journey to success, what their keys were, how they did it, what their advice is for you. This should be a much more tactical show as we move further into the future. But thank you for your feedback. I know I get some emails from time to time from listeners just like you telling me about how much they like the show and what they'd like to see on it. So thank you for that feedback. But until next time, I am the real Jason Duncan, living the exit lifestyle from my cabin here in the Smoky Mountains this week. And remember, as always, Jesus is king.
Attention business owners.
Attention business owners.
Feeling burnout from running your business? Uncertain if you're nearing burnout? Take our free 10-question business burnout test at businessburnouttest.com to discover where you stand. With just 10 quick questions, you'll learn how to immediately begin making changes to regain freedom and success. Cut your daily operations time in half. Improve your quality of life and prepare your business for your future exit without losing revenue or profit. Visit businessburnouttest.com now and take the test. Thank you for listening to another edition of The Root of All Success with the real Jason Duncan. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, visit therootofallsuccess.com to access the show notes and other helpful resources. Follow Jason on social media at The Real Jason Duncan. See you again next time here on The Root of All Success.